Good morning. Let me give my puppies their treat. Good boy. Good girl. Well, good morning. Good morning. Let's make a pie. This morning the weather feels like fall weather. It's cool here in Ohio, so I'm dressed a little warm because I have to take the puppies in and out to do their POTTY. So, I'm going to make a pie this morning because I'm still doing my freezer rotation and I found some pie crust, so I'm going to use them up. And we're going to make a chicken pot pie. So let me get my hands washed, and hopefully a few people will come in and join me this morning, and let's make some pie. And then we're going to make an amazing treat for my husband. It's if you like chocolate covered cherries, they're called cherry bombs. And this is not my recipe. I did get it off of YouTube, and I can't remember exactly who did it, but my husband absolutely loves them. But they taste just like a chocolate covered cherry. And Kitty is bumping my tripod. So, it's a new tripod. Everybody's getting used to it, even me. So let me get my hands washed. Let's get started. So good Tuesday morning, everyone. Hello, hello. And yes, I'm ready to make something in the kitchen. Got to make some goodies. So I'm going to turn you around to where I'm going to be working a little bit here this morning. I'm going to be working right here and putting a pie together, and I'm going to be making a chicken pot pie. See if I can get me and this all in frame. We'll try. And yes, I have coffee. Coffee. So, good morning. Happy Tuesday. And let's make a chicken pot pie. I had baked a whole chicken, and I went ahead and deboned it. So I have all of this wonderful chicken, and I'm going to turn it into a chicken pot pie. And you're going to hear my puppies in the background. I apologize. They're playing. No, babies. Hey. Easy. They're playing and being puppies. So, let's get started and let's make a pie. So I did have 2 of these frozen crusts left over in my freezer. So these are not from scratch. I'm trying to use up everything out of my freezer so I can restock my large freezer for fall. So let me see if I can get these open. And we will get started. So I hope everybody's having a good morning. If you can hear, my puppies are definitely having a good morning. Babies, rider, easy pup. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this pie started. Let me see if I can lower you down just a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. And this is just a frozen pie crust. And I'm going to use one for the bottom and one for the top. I've made chicken pot pies before on my lives. So if you've watched me before, you've probably seen me make chicken pot pies before. And I'm going to go ahead and roll this out. And then I'm going to go ahead. I have a little bit of dehydrated vegetables, mixed vegetables, and it's just a wee little bit that I had left over from the project apparently I was doing. So I'm going to go ahead and and rehydrate those this morning. Okay. Let's get this going. Okay, let me let that do its thing there. And I just have just a little bit of dehydrated mixed vegetables. So all I'm going to do is just, sorry, Lily, Ryder. No. Easy. I'm going to add a little water and let them rehydrate. I'm sorry, I apologize for the puppies in the background. But they're just puppies being puppies, and you know how that is. It is what it is. We're real life here, real time. Hey, Ryder, you want another treat, buddy? So I'm just going to add a little bit of water on these mixed vegetables, and I'm just going to let them hydrate for a few minutes. And I'll be right back. Let me see if I can get them another treat to get them occupied. Hey, look at this. What's Mommy get? Let's not do that. Lily, here. Lily. Okay, so maybe that will keep them occupied for just a minute. Now, I'm going to see if this pie crust is going to be large enough. I'm just going to be using a regular pie pan. And I'm going to think that's going to be good. I'm going to let those vegetables hydrate just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and roll this out just a wee bit. Not much, but just a little bit, just to make sure I got plenty of room. So, can you see that okay? I hope you can see that. I'm not really used to this new tripod. I'm trying to get used to it. So I'm just going to kind of stretch this out. And this is just a frozen pie crust that I had left over in my freezer. I found 2 in there, and I'm trying to use everything up so I can restock my freezer. And I thought, well, we'll just go ahead and make a pie this morning and use that up. That should be plenty big enough. I'm going to go ahead and spray this with some ham. I'm going to do it over my sink so I don't make a mess on my floor or couch. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my pie crust and my pie. So hopefully this is big enough. I do believe it is. This is a pretty good sized pie pan. But I think we're going to be just fine. Oh, that's going to be just perfect. Perfect. So how is everyone this morning? What are you cooking? I'm going to make a chicken pot pie this morning. I had baked a whole chicken, and I had deboned it, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead. It's a cool morning, and I'm just going to make a chicken pot pie. And this is nothing fancy. Okay, that was 1 frozen pie crust. And I'm just going to take a fork and just put a few holes in the bottom. That way when it rises, it will rise hopefully evenly. We will see. But hopefully you can see that. I have sun coming in on me. And I'm going to set that off to the side. And this will be my top piece. This is my second frozen pie crust. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is get my filling ready. So I'm just going to move this And look at all this wonderful chicken. No, babies. Well, I kind of thought that might keep them occupied, but I may be wrong. Now I'm just going to shred this a little bit more, not a whole lot. And that was quite a bit of chicken. Lily, no. Sorry, I have puppies. They are noisy, and they're being puppies. So I'm just going to kind of shred this a little bit, see how much we got here. I think this is going to be plenty. And I can save the rest of that and make a nice little treat for the little ones, for my pups. Or I can make me a chicken salad sandwich here in a little bit. That would be absolutely delicious. So I think we're going to have a lot of chicken. That's going to be plenty. My husband likes a really thick pot pie. And there's a small bone that I missed, so I'm going to put that off to the side. And I'm just going to get my hands right down in here. Yes, my hands are clean. I washed them. I just want to make sure I don't have another bone down in there because I did debone this and I am injured, so I'm a little bit tired at the end of the day when I'm doing things. Well, that's just going to be wonderful. And I am dehydrating just a little bit of my, I'm rehydrating a little bit of my dehydrated vegetables. And I've just gotten them in some water. And I just had a little tiny bit left over, so I thought, you know what? While I'm working on this, I'm just going to go ahead and rehydrate those and just add them right to my pot. Let me turn a light on here. It's a little bit dark in the kitchen. There we go. Hopefully you can see me a little better. I'm going to wash my hands. So if you've done like I've done and you've baked a whole chicken, or you have a rotisserie chicken and you have extra chicken, I just go ahead and debone it and freeze it, and then whenever I want to make a chicken salad or for sandwiches, or if I want to make a chicken pot pie like this morning, I just bring it out, thaw it, and get ready and make a wonderful pot pie. Okay, this is a very simple recipe. I don't add a whole lot to mine. Let me get out the spoon and can opener. I usually add 1 can of mixed vegetables and I drain it. And 1 can of cream of chicken. Now, if this is more chicken than what I usually have, I will add a 2nd can of cream of chicken. But my husband likes this really, likes a really thick cross or center. He likes it very meaty. No, hold on. I don't have anything left. So, sorry, puppies are not cooperating. Now, let me see. And these are my noodles from yesterday. Let me go ahead and spin you around so you can see them. And they are drying quite well. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and pick one up. And I will give it to the puppy. He absolutely loves noodles. He says, thank you, Mama. Okay, so, I'm going to go ahead. No, I'm all done. No. Bad. I'm all done. I'm going to go ahead and open my can of mixed vegetables. I'll go ahead and open this and then drain it. Sorry, I'm in I'm in and then I'm out of frame. I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to filming. So all I'm going to do is open this and then I'm going to drain it. Hopefully I'm not moving you around too much, and I apologize again. The puppies are not cooperating this morning. It really felt like fall this morning and yesterday morning here in Ohio. So I'm dressed a little bit warm and I'm dressed comfortable. Okay, so I've drained my mixed vegetables. And I'm just going to put those in my chicken. And this is just a off-brand, Kroger brand. You can use any brand of mixed vegetables. And I'm going to go ahead and open my can of cream of chicken. And this is my filling for my chicken pot pie. And this makes an absolutely delicious chicken pot pie. Hi, Gran. Hi, good morning, Mike. How are you this morning? We're making pies this morning. Well, one pie. And then I'm going to make a dessert. It's, if you like chocolate-covered cherries, it's similar to the chocolate-covered cherries. So go ahead and get that in there. I'll leave that spin there for just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and add my vegetables that I have rehydrated. And they are still, they could rehydrate just a little bit more, but I think they're going to do just fine as the pie bakes. So I'm just scooping them out of the water. And I've got peas, carrots, green beans, and corn. And the vegetables that I'm rehydrating. Good, okay. Good, Mike. Good to hear it. Okay, now I'm just going to, oops, I still have a couple more in there. I think I pretty well got them. There we go. Now I'm going to go with a bigger spoon. And hopefully my bowl is going to be big enough. A lot of times I don't have a big enough bowl. We will see. Now I'm going to go ahead and just mix this up real good and see what it looks like. See if I need to add anything else. And like I said, my husband likes a really thick center in his chicken pot pies. So as you're going to see, this is going to be very thick. Oh, that smells delicious. And I haven't even added any seasonings yet, and it absolutely smells wonderful. Bring that up there so you can see. Look at that filling. Oh, that's going to be so good. This cool weather makes you just want to bake a pie. Okay, I'm going to add some garlic powder. I don't really add a whole lot to my center seasoning. And I have some sea salt. And there's already salt in the cream of chicken, so I didn't put a whole lot of salt in there. And I want to add a little bit of pepper. And that is all I'm going to add to my center filling, because I don't want it to be overwhelming. And I'm just going to stir it up really, really good. And this is so quick and so easy. If you have a couple frozen pie crust, or if you make a couple pie crusts from scratch, just get your bottom pie crust ready. And then we're just going to add our filling. And I know that looked like a lot of filling, but this is a big pie pan. Oh, that smells so good. Reminds me of a fall morning when Grandma was making homemade pies. Well, mine's not quite homemade, but it's going to be as close as I can get. Okay, so now we got the filling in. Doesn't that look delicious already? So I'm going to set it to the side. I'm going to bring back my paper. And I'm going to get my second wonderful pie crust, frozen pie crust that I allowed to thaw. I'm going to get it open. So, is everybody starting to feel fall in the air this week? I don't know if it's just a cold spell coming through, or I'm not really sure why, but it's cool here this morning. It was cool here yesterday as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this second pie crust out. And this is just a frozen pie crust I've allowed to thaw. Nothing fancy here this morning. Like I said, I'm injured and I'm just making do and finding some easy things to do that will make nice, healthy dinners for myself and my husband. So, that's what we're working on today. I absolutely love these frozen pie crusts if you're in a hurry. How do I make a blueberry pie, Grandma? If you have the frozen blueberries, you can make them with your frozen blueberries. You just have to make up your pie filling. If you have blueberry pie filling, you can make it with your blueberry pie filling. And when I make it, I just basically would do the same thing, use my pie crust like I am now. And because it's blueberry, I would add just a little bit of sweetener, a little bit of sugar, and just put my pie together. And make sure whenever you're doing your crust, like I did on my bottom, I took a fork and I made some holes in the bottom of the pie crust, and that just so it raises evenly. And all I'm doing here is I'm just trying to give me a little bit more pie crust to go over top of my pie. Nothing fancy here this morning. Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, and make sure whenever you do your top of your pie, you're going to see what I do. You can either basket weave your blueberry, which is strips, leaving some opening. Sorry, one of my puppies is bumping my tripod. This is a new one. I'm not used to it. They're not used to it. You can either do your basket weave, or whenever you put it on, like you're going to see me do, I add some air vents on the top so nothing bubbles over. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one ready. My hands will cooperate this morning. And we're going to get this pie crust on this one. And like I said, this is nothing fancy. I just had some frozen pie crust. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just make a pie. And I don't really have a whole lot of extra, but I want to see what we've got. And then I will go ahead and cut a little bit of this extra off. Go ahead and get this out of my way. I have just a little bit of extra here, so I'm going to go ahead and just take my knife, and I'm just going to kind of go around and take some of that extra off that I don't think I'm going to need. I don't really have a whole lot of extra on this one this morning. But there's just a little bit that I don't think I'm going to need, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. And this pie crust definitely thawed out. It's doing very good. It's cutting very nice. And I just kind of go around the outside of the pie pan and kind of touch up against the outside of my glass pie pan and take off any extra. I think that one will be just fine. Okay. So quick, so easy, and so delicious. I like my pie pan that doesn't have the handles, but I think I took it to the camper. So we are making do with the one that I have here this morning. Okay, now I've kind of got everything trimmed off. Don't have a whole lot of extra dough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pinch my two together because I don't want them to come apart. So I'm going to kind of fold it under. Hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to go around and fold it under. That way I'm kind of pinching my two crusts together. That's going to be my first thing. That way I don't have my goodies coming out the side of my crust. I'm trying to read the comments. It's so small on this phone like this, but we will do okay. We'll do just fine. And I'm just basically going through and pinching that together and folding it under. Just enough to keep all my goodies inside of my pie. And my fingernails are a little bit long this morning, so I need to be careful. I'm almost punching in my crust there. Okay, so once I go around and I get all that folded together and pinched, especially here around this handle, I want to make sure I get that pinched. Then all I'm going to do is just go through and I'm going to put my thumb out and my two fingers. I'm pushing in with my thumb and pushing back with my fingers. It's nothing fancy. Just enough to give me a nice little crust. Absolutely nothing fancy here this morning. It's a little bit thick right there, so I'm going to try and redo that one. It's just enough to basically keep your ends together. Nothing fancy, just quick and easy. Now, I'm going to put few little holes in the center, and that is so that my goodies have some air. I try to get as close to the center as I can, but I'm usually not right on the center, but it'll be just fine. And I just cut some small slits. My hands are just not working this morning, but it is all right. So, just enough to where the fluid has air and it can get some air. Now, the last thing I want to do is I'm going to do an egg wash on the top, and that will give me a pretty brown crust, and it'll also give it some shine. Okay, I got me a little brush. I just have a fork, and I'm just going to whisk this egg up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and turn my oven on 350 degrees. Check my oven, make sure I don't have something in there, because a lot of times I will put my cast iron back in the oven when I'm not using my oven. And now I'm just going to do an egg wash and just basically go across the top of my crust and give it a little bit of an egg wash. And you want to make sure that you get all your ends as well. And this will be an amazing dinner for this evening. And I'm using some of my leftovers. I like to bake a whole chicken or have a rotisserie chicken, and then I will debone it and I will freeze it. And then whenever I decide I want a chicken pot pie or some chicken salad, all I have to do is go to the freezer and I have it there. And I've made another meal out of leftovers. And I was raised on leftovers, and I absolutely love leftovers. Make sure I got everything covered good. Okay. Doesn't that look awesome? And when I bake my pie, I make sure I bake it on a cookie sheet that is covered. And I'm going to go ahead and wipe off anything that I may have gotten on the sides. Because my old hands just don't work like they used to, and sometimes I'm a little bit messy. Now, how easy was that? We are going to have a chicken pot pie for dinner. You're doing amazing. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So this is ready to go in the oven. So there. How easy was that to make a chicken pot pie? I did have a little bit of dough left over, so I'm going to discard that. And I'm doing two things at once. I am rotating my kitchen, or my large freezer, and I'm making dinner. So how awesome is that? I'm going to go ahead and get some water in my bowl. And I'll be right back. So do you enjoy making meals out of leftovers? If you do, this is a very good idea. All right, I'm just going to rinse those out. And then I'll move on to my next project this morning. That egg wash will give it a nice brown crust, and it'll also give it a really nice shiny crust as well. You may have watched me before and seen me do a chicken pot pie before. And I'm going to go ahead and take these to the trash. I'll be right back. And that still leaves me a little bit of chicken. And I think I'm going to turn this into chicken salad sandwiches for lunch. I'll put that in the refrigerator. Okay, so let me get a few of these things here put away, and then I'll get started on my dessert that I want to make. And I need a recipe. And this is called cherry bombs. If you like chocolate covered cherries, this is similar to a chocolate covered cherry. And it doesn't really have a whole lot of ingredients. You have to have 1 stick of cold butter. You don't want it frozen, and you don't want it quite room temperature. So we're going to need that. We're going to need some powdered sugar. I've got 1 stick of butter. I'm going to need vanilla. And I am going to need some cherries without stems. Now that is everything that I'm going to need, because the ingredients is 1 stick of butter cut up, 2 cups of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and a 10-ounce jar of cherries without the stems. So we're going to go ahead and get started on this. Now that is for your filling. Then you will have a dip that you need to make. So while my filling is setting up, I will get my dip ready, and then we will be making, it's similar to a chocolate chip cherry, or a chocolate covered cherry, but it has small bits of cherry, and it's absolutely delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this part of it, and I'm going to move you over again. So we can get started. And I'm going to get me a cutting board out. And I'm going to get me some paper towels. And I'm going to get a bowl. So let me go ahead and wipe this space down. Just make sure I don't have anything on there. And we will get ready. And we will start our next project this morning. Because hubby is wanting some cherry bombs. So we can't have him without his desserts. Even though we still have brownies in the dessert container. In the dessert container right here. They're still brownies, but they're getting low. So we're going to have to get him another dessert started. Okay, let me get a cutting board. And cutting board ready to go. And I need a small knife. Small knife. I'm going to need a bowl because I'm going to be draining these cherries once I dice them up. Now this will stain, so if you don't want your cutting board stained, make sure you use something that will clean well. Mine always cleans back up very nice. I don't have a problem with it. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started on this. And I'm going to go ahead and get me a rag because I know I'm probably going to need it. And I'm going to set my timer on my pie for about 35 minutes. And I'll take a look at it. It's probably going to take close to 40 minutes or more. We will see. Okay, let me get started now. So, it's getting to the fall, and it's getting to where you want to come in and you want to cook and bake and enjoy your kitchen. Well, that's what I'm doing this morning. And I'm just going to take a few cherries out at a time. And I never actually weigh mine. It's just I go by making them before. And I'm going to go ahead and drain these because see how runny those are? So I'm going to go ahead and get a bowl. And I'm just going to get me out some cherries. And I'm just going to toss them in the bowl. Because otherwise you see all this juice, I'm really going to have a mess. So that's why we're doing this. Taking you step by step how I find the easiest way to do this. And I just get me out some, and I'm used to making these, so I kind of just eyeball it. And this is a pretty large jar. This is 16 ounces. So I'm going to say that's probably enough cherries. So I'm going to stop right there. And then I want to drain these. You try and get as much juice off of these as I absolutely can. So I'm just going to put them in a paper towel and just kind of press them, squash them down. And you can see there is a lot of juice coming out there. So I'll go ahead and put down more towels. These are so delicious. Absolutely delicious. And they're not that hard to make. They are a little time consuming, so you do need some time if you're going to be making these. Because there's a lot of different little steps to it. Okay, I think I'll probably be good on there this time. Go ahead and I've got sticky hands. Now I'm going to go ahead and start dicing them. You can see I've got most of that juice off of there. Now I'm just going to take them off here and just kind of chop them up. It depends on how big of pieces you want in your center pieces for cherry bites. I don't use the whole cherry. And I don't remember who I seen do this on YouTube. So again, this is not my original recipe. But they did dice them up. And my husband said as long as they're pretty good sized dices, because he likes to have cherry bites when he takes a bite. So he seems to like the way I'm doing it, so I don't want to change it. If he likes it, we'll just keep it like it is. So I'm definitely ready for fall. It's been very hot this summer. And I'm ready for just a little bit of fall weather, cool evenings, especially when we're at the camp or sitting around the campfire. And for some reason, whenever the weather turns cooler and I start to feel fall, I want to come in and I want to cook and bake and make applesauce in the crock pot. It's just something that I enjoy. Fall is my favorite time of the year. Absolute favorite time of the year. I love the smell of fall. I love the colors of fall. I love cooking and baking and making jellies and jams and just enjoying the weather. And I'll be so glad when my kitchen is completely remodeled. Again, if you've been watching me, only half of my kitchen is remodeled. So I'm making do. I'm making do with it. It's all good. It's all good. And like I said, I am injured, so I'm trying to take it easy and do some small things that makes it easy for me. I did have a live yesterday, and I made the noodles, the fettuccine noodles using the Pasta and Beyond pasta maker. And those noodles are out on trays, and they're drying so nice. And they're just such pretty noodles. Pretty pasta. I call them noodles. I'll leave them out for at least another 48 hours. Make sure they're dry. And then I will put them away like I did on my live yesterday. I was showing you how I put them in the quart jar. And then I put an oxygen absorber in with it. And then I sealed it with my battery-operated mason jar sealer. Okay, so I'm going to move that aside, and I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Okay, so now I have all my cherries diced up, and they're pretty good sized chunks, as you can see. And then I'm just going to kind of wipe this just a little bit. And I'm just going to cut my butter up. Trying to save me from making a great big mess. And all of this is going to be going together, so I'm not worried about that. This is all my filling. I am going to wipe the cherries off of my knife. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just start chopping this a little bit. Well, actually, you know what? I'm just going to take it out of the paper. I think it will be easier for me just to chop it with the paper off. And I'll just chop it right there on that paper. And that way I can just take that paper and take it right over and put it in my KitchenAid. So, let's just do it this way. I'm going to go this way. And then I'll do one more. Because you want this kind of chopped up and you want it cool. You don't want this really warm. So I'm just going to go one way with it. And then I'm just going to turn it to the side. And I'm just going to cut it again. Just to make it a little bit easier to cut up in the, or to blend up in the KitchenAid. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can chop it as small as you want to. And then I'm going to go one more time that way. And I think that should be plenty small enough. So I just kind of cubed it in little cubes. Nothing major. Okay, so now we've got our butter. We've got our cherries. And yes, I've got greasy hands again. Got my rag. Okay, it says chop up your cherries after they're towel dried, which we did. Cream the butter and the sugar together with the mixer. So I'm going to go ahead and get my mixer ready here. Hopefully you can see me. And I like to use this paddle with my KitchenAid. Get myself plugged in. I want to make sure my bowl is locked. And I want to make sure that this is not loose. I'll make sure there's nothing on there. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put my stick of butter in the KitchenAid. And I'll bring you over here in just a minute. Yes, that was Mama. Sorry. That was Mommy. Now I'm going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar. Hey. No. And I'm not really sure what I have left in here. And I'm going to be making some icing later. So I'm going to be using that up in my icing. And I'll just open a new bag. No, babies. No. So let me go ahead and get this open. And I'm going to need 2 cups. And this is just powdered sugar. These are very rich. They are very, very rich. Okay, so I've got 2 cups of powdered sugar. Lay that off to the side there. And I've got 1 stick of butter. So now I'm going to bring you over. Hopefully we don't make too much of a noise there trying to get to the... Basically, all I have in here is my butter. See if I can get you a little bit closer and reposition you. Maybe you can see that. I just have the butter in there, and now I'm just going to add my sugar. And we all know that powdered sugar is very messy. So, I want to start this very low. That way I'm not throwing my powdered sugar everywhere. I'm going to let that blend for just a minute. Okay, now we'll try to speed it up a little bit. Then I'm just creaming my sugar and butter together. Sorry if that's a little loud. And I'm just going to take a spatula and just kind of take that down a little bit on the sides. Whoops, I lost my spatula. And I just want to try and get it to the center. I do not like these spatulas. I have a solid one somewhere, but I don't know where it's at right off of the bat. It may be in to be washed. Okay, so now I've got those creamed together. Hopefully you can see that. And then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my chopped cherries and my vanilla. And this is the filling for the chocolate covered cherry bombs. So there's my cherry pieces. And now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now you want to work these pretty fast because you don't want your butter getting too warm. So I'm just going to mix this again. me. And I believe that will be just enough. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take all of this down off of here. Get it in my bowl. Because I'm going to stir this. I don't want to over mix it in this blender. So I'm going to be stirring that just a little bit. And I have just a little bit left over. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back to this side. Sorry that I'm moving you everywhere. And over here I've got a cookie sheet. And I just have the cookie sheet lined with wax paper. And you can see how pretty that is. Hopefully you can see the color. It's a pretty pink. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend this a little bit better with my spatula. And make sure I've got everything all mixed up together. Make sure nothing's on the side that's not mixed. And these are so delicious. So delicious. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my spatula. And I've got a small ice cream scoop. You can make them bigger if you would like. I just prefer this size. And now I'm just going to scoop those into small balls right here on my cookie sheet. And they won't be perfect balls. Because in a perfect world, I am not perfect. So some of mine may be a little bigger, some may be a little smaller. I just try to get them on there pretty quick because I don't want my mixture to get warm. And then what we're going to do with these, once we get them on the cookie sheet, is we have to get them to set. So we can dip them in chocolate. So, what I'll do next is I'll get these on this cookie sheet into my freezer. And they will be in the freezer, I think it is about an hour. And then that gives me plenty of time to make up my chocolate to dip them in. So when they come out of the freezer, I'll go ahead then and dip these in the chocolate. And then I will put them back in the refrigerator for about a half an hour on the cookie sheet after they're dipped in chocolate. Allow them to set. And then once they set, I will take them off the cookie sheet. I'll put them in plastic containers. And then I will store it in the refrigerator. And let me see if I can take a little bit from this one, and a little bit from this one, and maybe a little bit from this one. And I'll maybe can make one more. I think we can do it. I think we can. And these are absolutely delicious. They're great for holidays. They're just great for any time that you just want to make something special. And my husband absolutely loves cherry. So anything cherry, he loves it. So that will give me 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. About 15 is what I get every time. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these. Hopefully you can see how nice those look. And I'm going to put these in my freezer, and I'm going to leave them in there for 1 hour. That gives me time to clean up my kitchen. All of the things I've got over here in the sink, as you can see. And then I can make up my chocolate for the dipping. So since you're already on here with me, I'm going to go ahead and get some chocolate ready. I'll show you what all goes in the chocolate. And then I will go ahead and get it in the microwave. And then all I have to do is, whenever I get those out, just warm that chocolate back up a little bit and dip my filling in the chocolate and set them back on the cookie sheet, put them back in the refrigerator for about a half an hour and allow them to set up, and then I will take them out and put them in my plastic storage container. Okay, so since you're on here with me, we'll go to the next step. Now that was all just for the filling only. Now, don't you just love my fancy little recipe cards? So now we're going to go for the chocolate dip. And the chocolate dip is 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And you can use regular, you can use mini, whatever you have available. So one has to be 1 cup of the semi-sweet. Then you want 1 cup of the milk chocolate. And usually it's about a half a bag. So when I made them the last time, this is what I had left over. So this should be enough for my second batch, which I'm making today. So this is my milk chocolate. So you'll need a cup of milk chocolate. You will need 1 cup of the semi-sweet and a half a cup of creamy peanut butter. Any kind of peanut butter. It doesn't have to be Jiffy. This is just what I have on hand. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that much noise. And I'm going to have to open this one because apparently I took my other one to the camper. Because if you've been watching me, you know we've been at the camper a lot lately. And of course, when I'm at the camper, hubby still thinks he should have all of his goodies, his desserts, and even if we're at the camper, Mama has to be making something. I think he might be just a little bit spoiled. A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get a 1 cup measuring cup. And then I'm going to get a half cup measuring cup. And I'm going to get a bowl. And I'm just using a glass bowl. Turn you around this way, I'm sorry. Should have you here where you can see me. I'm going to go ahead and get this powdered sugar moved. Because we are done with that. And that will give me just a little bit more room here to move around. Put my scissors away. Well, now I'm going to need them to open my chocolate chips, so I might as well go ahead and do that. Okay. So I need 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. I just love it when it gets cool. I want to come in and cook and bake and just make things in the kitchen. I don't know if you're that one, but that's just, I love it. I love cool mornings, and this morning and yesterday it was cool. I just had to come in and bake a pie this morning. We've got that in the oven, and now I'm going to make hubby some goodies. Okay, so 1 cup of the semi-sweet, and then 1 cup of the milk chocolate. And as you can see, it comes out to about a half a bag. So half a bag of each will be able to make you 2 batches. I bet peanut butter. I'm so making this. Oh, my mouth is watering. Looks great. Hi. Oh, well, good. I'm glad you are enjoying this. And I'm not a professional chef or nothing. I just enjoy cooking. Okay, now the only other thing I need is I need a half a cup of creamy peanut butter. Now, if you want to put in crunchy, you can, but this is your dip that you're making. So it depends on what you want. I watched the lady make it, and it was creamy, and my hubby likes it, so we're not going to change it. We're going to leave it creamy. So here is a half a cup of creamy peanut butter. Now, when you go to put this in the microwave, because it is chocolate chips, you really want to be careful and be right there and watch it so it does not scorch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this ready, and I'm going to put this in the microwave on 30-second intervals, just a little bit at a time. I don't want to scorch my chocolate. So that is 1 cup of semi-sweet, 1 cup of milk chocolate, and a half a cup of peanut butter. And let me tell you, it smells like I'm making peanut butter cookies right now. And I'm starting these at 30 seconds. And normally I think it's 1 or 2 times that I can run it through. Let me get some peanut butter off my hands. And I did not set my timer for the hour in the freezer because I have my timer set right now for my pie. So it's probably been in there maybe 5 minutes. So at about, it is 10:44 now. So I'll check on that around 11:40, and it should be set up in the freezer. Okay, that was 30 minutes, or 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. That was 30 seconds in the microwave, and as you can see, it has not melted yet. But the peanut butter is getting very creamy. So we're going to do another 30 seconds. And my husband loves chocolate-covered cherries. On the holidays, I try to find him boxes of chocolate-covered cherries. And when I seen this recipe, I thought, well, he just likes that. And he absolutely loves it. And they're called cherry bombs. But they taste like almost like a chocolate-covered cherry. The center is very rich because you have 2 cups of powdered sugar, you've got cherries, and you've got a whole stick of butter. So they are very rich. Okay, so now this is really getting creamy, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and stir it just a little bit. Kind of mix it up a little bit. Move things around in my bowl. And I'm not going to need much more. Maybe 1 more 30 seconds. And this is going to be my chocolate that I will be dipping my center into. And as you can see, that is really melting down. I don't think I'm even going to need the other 30 seconds because those are really, once I stirred it, it's melted up nice. It's creamy. See how creamy that is? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this in my microwave. I went ahead and made it up since you're right here with me, and you're going to need to know what's in the dip. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my microwave, and I'll just let it sit there in the microwave until my hour is up, and then I will take my cherry bomb centers out of the freezer, and I will dip it in the chocolate dip. And that will give me time to go through and get my kitchen cleaned up. And then all I have to do is to dip each one and then put them back into the refrigerator at that point for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long it takes them to set up with the chocolate dip. And then I'll remove them from the cookie sheet with the wax paper, and I will put them in plastic storage containers, and I will put them in the refrigerator because they are chocolate and they will melt. So I always use the little containers. I think I've got a few here. I'll store them in something similar to this. I've got a couple of them here, and I'll just kind of have these out setting ready, and that way I'm not letting anything get very warm. So that gives me 3 of them right here, so that should be more than enough. So I try to go ahead and get that ready ahead of time because I know they need to be stored in the refrigerator, and these containers are small. They don't take up much room, and the cherry bombs fit absolutely wonderful on these small containers. And they're not very big, as you can see. They're just a small container. Oh, and there's my timer, so let me check my pie. See how I'm doing on the pie. Oh, you should see this. I'm going to go ahead and give that another 10 minutes. But I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like right now. And I'm thinking another 10 to 15 minutes, and wow, is that not going to be an absolutely beautiful chicken pot pie? And I'm going to give it another 10 minutes, and I will see what it looks like in 10 minutes. So anyway, I hope that wasn't too boring. Pretty quick, pretty easy. And you probably noticed that I am still injured. I have my long dress on, but I still am sporting the wonderful boot, waiting for orthopedic doctor to call me, so hopefully I can get out of this boot, and we will be getting that done. Looks great. Oh, well, thank you. But until then, I had an accident, unexpected injury, so I'm just piddling, doing some little things, but yet they're still healthy. And the noodles that I made yesterday on my live stream are drying. I made the fettuccine noodles, and if you were watching my live stream yesterday, I put them out on the cookie sheets. I'm letting them air dry, and as you can hear, they are drying very nice. So I'm going to give them another day or so. And once they snap, whenever I feel that they're dry enough and after they snap, I want to leave them at least one more day and make sure that they're completely dry. And then I will get those put away. And I have 4 trays, 4 cookie sheets lined in aluminum foil. And I've got them on my island, which takes up half of my island. So, kind of limited on my space today, but you know what? We made it through this. We absolutely made it through this with no problem at all. So anyway, that's all I have this morning. I hope you enjoyed that. And don't be afraid to go in the kitchen and try new things. Just there in this, what was it? Almost not even an hour and a half. We got a chicken pot pie put together. And that way I'm using up the leftover chicken that I had from the whole chicken that I baked. And I had some frozen crust that needed to be rotated in my freezer. So I thought, you know, we'll just do it. It's a cool morning, we'll make a chicken pot pie. Thanks, Tammy, looks great. Oh, well, thank you. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that and you've seen how easy it is to go in your kitchen and make a chicken pot pie with some leftovers. And I still have enough chicken that I'm going to make me a chicken salad sandwich for lunch. So I've used up my leftovers and I'm enjoying my cool morning here. And got hubby a dessert. And like I said, it's not like he's being slighted or nothing. There is still brownies in the dessert dish. But they're getting low. And Mr. Z, hubby, gets a little worried whenever the dessert dish gets low because he loves his desserts. And my hair is falling. I just got it up out of my way this morning. He's a lucky man. Oh, well, thank you. He spoils me, and I spoil him back. So I think it's an even trade. He's an absolutely wonderful man. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Enjoy your kitchen. And it's going into fall, and the weather will be getting cooler. And just, you know, you can make some pies and cakes and homemade breads and so many wonderful things in your kitchen. And yesterday we used the pasta and more, the pasta maker, and that is one of the new appliances that I did purchase for my kitchen. And with me being injured, I know that I can't hand make my pasta noodles right now, my fettuccine, and I know I'm getting low in my pantry. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to bring out my pasta and more and go ahead and make my pasta. And then yesterday on my lives, I was showing, let me see. I was showing the 2-quart jars. I had made some prior to yesterday's live stream. And this is what they look like when they're completely air dried. And then I put the oxygen absorber in it yesterday morning. And on my live yesterday, I brought out my little battery operated jar sealer. And no, I'm not affiliated with this company at all. It's the KZ80, KZ80 portable sealing machine. And this does regular mouth and wide mouth jars. And I went ahead and sealed this jar, and it has a perfect seal, so I know that it's shelf stable. And I'm filling back up my pantry, because even when you're injured, you need to get things done. So I'm just taking it easy, doing a little bit at a time, trying to stay up maybe an hour to an hour and a half. And I'm pushing an hour and a half on this leg, so I'm going to need to take a break. But I didn't want to leave you hanging and not let you know how to do the dip for the chocolate dip for your cherry bomb centers. So I hope you try this. It's really easy. There's not much ingredients. Again, it's for your filling. It's 1 stick of butter, and you cut it up into small pieces. And you want to keep that cold. You don't want that warm. Then 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and it calls for 1 10-ounce jar of cherries, but I had a 16-ounce jar. It depends on how much you want in it. If you want to use the whole 10-ounce jar, you can. So all you do is you drain your cherries on a paper towel, get as much of the juice out as you can, chop your cherries up, and then once you get that done, you put your butter, your chopped up butter, and your powdered sugar, your 2 cups of powdered sugar. I did mine in my KitchenAid. You can do it with a regular mixer, and you want to whip that up and cream it together. Then once it's mixed and creamed really good, then you want to add your cherries, add your teaspoon of vanilla, and then I'll let it mix, but not for a very long time because I don't want to overmix it at that point. Then you take a cookie sheet and you line it with wax paper, and I use the smallest ice cream scoop to make my little round balls. Scoop it out on your wax paper, and then put that in the freezer, not the refrigerator, in the freezer for 1 hour, and allow it to freeze and set up. So while that's doing that, then you can make your chocolate dip to dip your filling in. And it's 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1 cup of milk chocolate chips, and 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter. And I put it in the microwave, and I put it in for 30 seconds at a time. And take it out and look at it. And I only ran it through twice on 30 seconds, but your microwave may be different than mine. And so you want to be right there. You don't want it to scorch. And I'll go ahead and do that sometimes like I did today. Just leave it in the microwave. And while I'm using that hour, I can go sit down and take a break, come in and clean out my kitchen, get everything put away. And then by that time, it'll be time to take my centers out of the freezer, dip them in my chocolate, my melted chocolate, then put them back on the wax paper, on the cookie sheet, put them in the refrigerator for 1/2 hour to 45 minutes. Could be an hour, depends on how long it takes it to set up. And then you will remove them from the wax paper and store it in a plastic container. And these, like I said, these are small. I've got 3 of them here. And put them back in your refrigerator, and your family will absolutely enjoy this wonderful, wonderful little dessert or candy. I'm going to do another 5. I hope I'm not overdoing it, so I'm staying right here. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to hop off of here, get some things done today. Get off my leg. I've been on here for an hour and a half, so that's plenty long enough for me. And I will catch you the next time. Maybe I'll come on tomorrow. It depends on what I'm doing. I'm not really sure. But until next time, like I always say, don't be afraid to try new things in your kitchen. Enjoy your kitchen. Have fun, Enjoy it. And as always, please be kind. Be kind to one another. We need to see more of that. So till next time, bye-bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I hope you try this little dessert and you like it. A little candy, I guess you would call it, similar to a chocolate-covered sugar. So, until next time, bye-bye, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you the next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.